show meant a lot to him.
Yeah.
He grew up in Brantford, and he used to go when WWE used to do their TV tapings there like every 8 weeks.
Yeah.
So as a kid, it was a big deal for him to be at the Civic Center, and I know he's bummed out about it, but I know he'll get another chance. And it was really hard for me to go out there without him because I know how much of a big deal that show was. And then anybody that saw that match and heard the promo that I did, and then Rory McAllister, took the mic and explained that, we broke kayfabe and just explained, like, we're all friends here because we worked each other so much in the beginning. And Rory and I and Robbie dedicated the match to Chase, and we did what we did, and it was what it was. My head wasn't into it; I was kind of spaced out, but it, we did what we could to move on. And my tag partner Turk Selleck, I got in the ring and I said to him, I said, "Geez, I feel like I'm cheating on Chase or something, coming out here because it was such a big show for him."
Yeah.
But he'll definitely be at the next one.
It was advertised very well that you guys were going to be in the opening match as well to get the Brantford people out there behind you.
Yeah, and that's the thing is he's always had good press in Brantford. And
doing things with MCW as well, right? You see him on the flyers out there.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure when their next show is, but I just talked to the guy the other day about it.
Yeah.
And of course I like coming here to Hamilton for GWN. It's always a good time. And, but I've been kicking around for a while.
As far as singles matches, which are the ones that you go back on and you think that those were great, or think that you would like to work again with that person perhaps because there was great chemistry?
You know what? I'm glad you asked me that, actually, because I worked last night in Cornwall for Mecca Pro Wrestling, and I worked with Joey Valentine, which I worked with Joey here last time I was here. And we had a hell of a match last night. And he had Mike Hart in his corner, so that's always a good dynamic. And we just seem to have really gel well together.
Yeah, it seems like a rivalry that's going to keep going.
Yeah, and I know Mike broke his wrist, and once Mike gets his wrist healed up, I'm hoping to maybe bring Chase in when he's up to it. And we could do the Heartbreakers versus the Texas Hellraisers. There's not enough teams legitimate teams that work together and stay together.
I agree. And it seems like most of them that do are heels for some reason.
Yeah, and there's not enough teams, but there's not enough babyface teams.
Yeah.
So
because once they think somebody can get that babyface heat, I think they want them to break away sometimes to try and give them something bigger.
Yeah.
But
I just
who's to say that's the case?
There's always times that, in the past where when we first started, people were like, okay, well, we'll do this, and you guys can work with the Ebony Express, and then we'll split you up. And we were like, no, we want to take this around the loop. We don't want to split up. Yeah. And we want to do our thing.
Yeah, you build up a tag team story. You may as well keep the story be about the tag team.
Yeah, but, so we always would stick to there's a few times where some promoters, and I won't name them, would get kind of hot. It's like, but I want to do the breakup angle. And it's like, well, we don't want them. We want to stay together as a team. Yeah. There was a time where Chase and I did break up, and it was a shoot. We weren't getting along, and we ended up we got into a fist fight backstage at a show. I think it was in...
A legit fist fight?
Yeah, I think it was in Stony Creek.
Oh.
And then later on...
That place will make anybody pissed.
Yeah. But then we tried to, work it out, and then we went out to the after party, and we got into another fight at the strip club. And the bouncers, had to kick us out. Just turned. But that's what happened. We were like brothers. Yeah. Brothers fight. But,
exactly.
But he, we always had fun together. But as far as singles matches lately, Joey Valentine and I have had some good chemistry.
We were talking about fights there as well. Is there any altercations you'd had in the ring where somebody tried to get a little serious with you or anything?
Well, yeah, there's been a few, but I don't want to.
You don't want to go to
one
them?
One of them is actually here on this show, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it was today?
Not today.
Oh, okay, cool.
A year and a half ago I can't.
A year and a half ago, they learned their lesson then.
I can't think of the name of the show, promotion in Kingston. Oh. But anyways, yeah. But I've had a few altercations.
Do you think that anybody thinks of you as being a bit of an enforcer or anything in the backstage area?
I don't know.
No? Seems like you've been around a long time and you'd get respected. I couldn't see anybody wanting to do anything like that to you.
Well, I don't know. I think Chase was always kind of more the level-headed one. But, I've grown up. I'm older now. I'm a father now. I got twin daughters, and I'm probably not so short-fused like I was 10, 12 years ago. So.
Well, that's a good thing.
But the one thing I want to say on this, since it's pretty current, is Chase and I were just talking the other day. The one thing we only got to do once as a team was work the Hollywood Hunks.
Yeah, that'd be a
did
good
it once,
match.
And I can't even think of where it was. And it wasn't even Sean and Custom, it was Custom and Jamie. And we'd had some singles matches with them, but we never saw. I mean, if any promoter wants to do that, Chase and I are looking to do some stuff with Custom and Sean.
With the 2 best heel tag teams in Ontario.
I think it would be interesting.
Yeah.
We haven't worked with the Flatliners. We were supposed to, and then I broke my ankle, and that was...
I guess they're one of the best heel tag teams in Ontario, too, since I forgot them.
But, yeah, so we'd like to work with the Hollywood Hunks.
Yeah, I'd definitely be interested in seeing that.
And,
or as well as the old all-nighters, if we can get them from back in the RWA days.
Yeah, that'd be fun, too, because, see, there's another team we were supposed to get booked to work against, I think, up in Bob Cajun. And I think Robin couldn't make it, so we ended up doing something I don't even remember what we were doing. But yeah, I'm trying to think. But I'd like to see Joey and Mike Hart come on. I like to work with them quite a bit.
Yeah.
And you know,
that's who you think is the tag team that's coming up in
well, I think
Ontario
really
Indies?
Babyface tag team. And you know, I just Joey and I just seem to have that, you know, that good chemistry.
It's good.
Like we did that last night. It was very old school, but it, you know, he did his selling and I put the heat on him, and
yeah,
it worked for what it is. So
and that's what you got to do. And so I'm going to wrap this up in a minute. Sure. Is there anybody else in Ontario that you'd like to put over this new generation of wrestling, perhaps?
You know what? I was just saying the other day.
To put you on the spot.
Yeah, I was just talking to Chase. I said, you know, there's so many guys in Ontario now compared to, you know, the late 90s.
Yeah.
When kind of the indie scene was kind of being established, and you know, it's hard to kind of keep track of who's doing what, but you know, wherever part of the territory you go, if you go out to Ottawa, there's a lot of great talent out there. We come here, you know, like it's a who's who.
Yeah.
So I would just encourage people to get into indie wrestling.
Yeah, as many shows as possible, because you never know what you're going to get.
You know, you're going to, you know, a lot of times, I would say 98% of the time, you're going to get way more than your money's worth.
Yeah.
You're not spending, you know, WWE buying, you know, and getting a big blown up show, but you're a lot closer to the action, and it just, I think it has a more intimate feel. So I think the fans walk away with a better appreciation. You know, so.
Me too. That's why I'm an indie fan for life.
Yeah, you know, and even if I, because I took a few years off when I got married and had a normal shoot job for a couple of years, but I still kind of, you know, kept involved, and I actually did some refereeing, and you know,
that must have been odd if you were bigger than the wrestlers.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Wrestlers.
Yeah, because I'm like 245 pounds, and some of these guys were, you know, the young, quick, fast guys, and look kind of, you know, I'm lumbering around, you know, but no, I would just encourage. Anybody, all the promotions are great. Like any of the ones, you know, I came back 3 years ago, and they've all been they've treated me good, and you know, especially here at GWN, you know, this is an old school field show. You know, Donovan Jack O'Shea is an old school promoter, and I think he offers something different than a lot of the other promotions right now. And of course, CWI, you know, like you can't
get bigger than that in Ontario.
No, and Nick's really doing a lot of good with that stuff, and I think you're going to see big things come from CWI. Me
too. I hope to see big things for the Hellraisers in CWI.
Well, we'll see. You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? Honestly, you know, because of, you know, Chase not being able to make that last show, I even said to Nick, I said, you know, if you want to go ahead and book him into singles and, you know, like give him that moment, you know, by all means, you know, because it was such a big deal for him, and he deserves it.
Yeah.
You know, he's worked hard, and
as you both did.
And actually, when I hadn't seen him in a few months, and I couldn't get over how he was in great shape. He was the best shape I'd seen him in years. So I mean, he worked hard in the gym to get ready for that show. So.
Well, it's a good thing you went out and represented for him with the.
I did my best.
With the people that came up with him.
Still wasn't the same.
Highlanders.
Yeah, which are good guys. They were good to say how they felt about Chase.
For sure. Ontario's finest, paying homage. Hopefully you guys can get back in there. CWI, GWN, wherever it is.
Yeah. And Acclaim Pro Wrestling at Gatineau, Quebec's a good place. I like working there. And of course, Mecca Pro in Cornwall is great.
Yeah.
And, you know, just a lot of places. You know, I think there's a good, healthy respect for the business too. And,
in the smaller towns?
In the small, well, you know, the smaller
or everywhere.
towns. You know, well, just overall, you know, in general. But the problem is there's so many guys vying for bookings. So I sometimes think some guys kind of get left to the sideline. Doesn't mean they're not talented. It's just there's so many guys, and then you got to play the politics.
Yeah, it takes a lot to get noticed when there's so many people.
Right. But anything else?
No, that's everything. Thank you for your time today.
Well, thank you.
And we'll be sure to check out GWN's next show, which is June 29th. June 26th or 29th. Check back at WTFHWrestling.com. I'll put up information. Thank you for your time today, Tyrant.
All right, thank you, sir.
No problem, man.